They told me to wait outside my own graduation party venue. My aunt, Patricia, was there, and she just said, "It's really only for close family right now." I stood there looking around. Everyone else, every single relative, was already inside. So, I just took off my cap and gown, turned my back on the whole thing and announced, "Looks like I'll find somewhere else to celebrate." My dad, who had been there, followed me out. Completely speechless. This isn't a story I ever imagined telling, a moment that truly broke me. I'd just graduated medical school, diploma clutched in my hand, ready to finally celebrate for grueling years of blood, sweat, and tears. But the instant I arrived at what was supposed to be my graduation party, my Aunt Patricia, her smile, thin and icy, actually blocked the door. "Sorry, Hannah," she hissed. "It's just for close family right now." Can you even picture it? Standing there, still in my cap and gown, watching everyone else, every single relative, even my distant cousins all inside, celebrating my achievement, while I was left out in the cold, intentionally shut out of my own party. If you've ever felt invisible, like an eternal outsider in your own life, then you know precisely how deeply that kind of rejection cuts. Growing up as Jana Williams' daughter, my mom, meant learning about sacrifice from an early age. She was truly everything to me, my provider, my fierce protector, and my loudest, most unwavering cheerleader. After my dad walked out when I was just 3, she worked 3 jobs, sometimes more, just to keep a roof over our heads. Her mornings were spent waitressing, her days in a busy administrative office, and her weekends at a convenience store. She was perpetually exhausted, yet she never once missed helping me with homework or attending a single school event. "Education is the one thing no one can ever take from you, Hannah," she'd always tell me. Often checking my math late at 11 p.m., her eyes would be heavy with fatigue, but her smile remained unwavering. "Your brain," she'd insist, "is your ticket to freedom." Our modest 2-bedroom apartment, situated in a less than ideal neighborhood, became our sanctuary, our fortress. While other kids sported new clothes and played with the latest toys, I cherish our trips to the public library. Mom always ensured I never felt poor. Even during those times the electricity got shut off, she'd magically transform it into an adventure, complete with flashlights and shadow puppets. My extended family, however, was a completely different narrative. My mother's sister, Aunt Patricia, had married into significant wealth, and she not once, let us forget it. Their Christmas cards always showcased picture-perfect family portraits from exotic vacations. When they hosted family gatherings at their sprawling suburban estate, we'd sometimes receive an invitation, but we perpetually felt like outsiders. My cousins, Emma, Jake, and Tyler, possessed everything I lacked: private schools, exclusive summer camps, and parents who consistently attended their events. "Why doesn't Aunt Patricia like us?" I once asked Mom after a particularly uncomfortable Thanksgiving, where my aunt had openly critiqued my thrift store dress. Mom just squeezed my hand. "Some people measure worth by what you possess not by who you are." She told me softly, "That's their profound loss." Despite that persistent feeling of inadequacy, I absolutely excelled academically. Education quickly became my sanctuary, a space where genuine effort consistently yielded tangible results. By high school, I was enrolled in all AP classes, while simultaneously working part-time at a local pharmacy. The pharmacist there, Dr. Santiago, soon became an invaluable mentor. He subtly planted the seed of medical school in my mind. "You have a natural gift for recalling medication interactions," he told me, "and more importantly, you genuinely care about the people behind those prescriptions. That's what truly makes a good doctor." The aspiration of becoming a physician seemed utterly impossible given our financial constraints, but my mother simply wouldn't hear of any limitations. She tirelessly helped me research scholarships, attended countless college fairs, and spent hours meticulously perfecting my application essays. When the acceptance letters started arriving, including a partial scholarship from State University, we danced ecstatically around our tiny kitchen. "You're going to be Dr. Williams someday," Mom declared, tears shimmering in her eyes. I always knew it. College proved to be a brutal balancing act: intense academics, multiple jobs, endless studying, and the looming weight of student loans. I lived off campus with 3 roommates to minimize costs, subsisted on ramen, and learned to function on minimal sleep. Yet, I thrived academically, consistently making the dean's list every semester and securing prestigious research positions. That significantly bolstered my medical school applications. Then, during my senior year, a diagnosis arrived that irrevocably changed everything. Mom's persistent cough and fatigue weren't merely symptoms of overwork. It was staged for lung cancer. Suddenly, I found myself splitting my time between demanding classes and the grim oncology ward. diligently taking notes during her chemotherapy sessions. Much like she'd once reviewed my homework, "Don't you dare pause your applications," she insisted weekly from her hospital bed. My daughter is going to be a doctor. I was indeed accepted to medical school with a scholarship. However, Mom's condition deteriorated rapidly. 6 months after her diagnosis, I held her hand as she took her final breath. The woman who had sacrificed everything to ensure my success would never live to see me achieve it. Grief almost completely derailed me. I seriously considered deferring my admission, but my mother's resolute voice in my head simply wouldn't allow it. Instead, I channeled my profound pain into fierce purpose, approaching medical school with a determination bordering on obsession. Mom's insurance covered her funeral expenses and left just enough for a modest down payment on a small studio apartment near campus. The subsequent 4 years were an intense blur, endless anatomy labs, demanding clinical rotations, high-stakes board exams, and a barely suppressed, constant grief. My extended family, predictably, largely vanished after Mom's funeral. Aunt Patricia, true to form, sent a generic sympathy card containing a $50 check that predictably bounced. My cousins would occasionally text on holidays, but our already fragile connection had completely atrophied. I did manage to forge a few close friendships within my program, especially with my study partner Megan, who quickly became the sister I'd never had. But primarily, I immersed myself in becoming the doctor my mother had so clearly envisioned. In my final year, I was honored with a prestigious scholarship for emerging physicians, which covered my remaining tuition and provided a living stipend. As graduation swiftly approached, I sent out formal announcements to my extended family, largely out of obligation rather than genuine expectation. To my utter surprise, Aunt Patricia actually called. "We're just incredibly proud of you, Hannah," she gushed, her voice practically dripping with an enthusiasm I'd never before her directed at me. "The family wants to throw you a proper graduation party. You're the doctor in the family, after all." I felt a mix of suspicion and hesitant hope. Perhaps my achievement had genuinely earned their respect at long last. Maybe, just maybe, my mother's sister was finally reaching out. Genuinely. "That sounds wonderful," I replied carefully, my voice tinged with caution. "Leave everything to me," Patricia assured me with an air of grand importance. "Just focus on your graduation ceremony. This will be a celebration truly worthy of Dr. Williams." For the first time in years, I allowed myself the rare luxury of feeling genuinely excited about my family. Perhaps this was indeed a crucial turning point, an opportunity to finally heal long-standing wounds. I even splurged on a beautiful new dress to wear beneath my graduation gown. The actual graduation ceremony earlier that day had been a deeply bittersweet experience. Sitting among my fellow graduates, I felt my mother's absence as a palpable, almost physical ache. When Hannah Jana Williams was called, I walked across the stage to accept my diploma, instinctively scanning the audience. Even though I knew no family was present, Patricia had explained they'd meet me at the restaurant. I still looked after the ceremony. I took selfies with friends. "Your mom would be so incredibly proud," my advisor said, hugging me warmly. "I know," I replied, believing it with every fiber of my being. "She's the sole reason I'm here." Little did I realize, the ultimate test of my strength wouldn't be navigating medical school's challenges without my mother. Instead, it would be confronting my family's persistent rejection on what should have been one of the most joyous days of my entire life. Graduation day itself dawned with perfect early summer weather. After 4 grueling years of relentless studies, countless sleepless nights, and moments rife with doubt, I had finally made it. Dr. Hannah Williams. The title still felt utterly surreal. I devoted extra time to getting ready that morning, fully aware this was the day my mother had so passionately dreamed about. My dress was a rare splurge, a knee-length, elegant navy blue number with subtle lace detailing, which I'd saved for weeks to afford. "Mom would absolutely love this," I whispered to my reflection, gently touching the small pendant around my neck that held a tiny photo of her. Throughout the ceremony, my thoughts consistently drifted to the party afterward. Aunt Patricia had texted me all the particulars: reservations at the Garland at 7 p.m. "We have the private room in the back. Everyone's so excited to celebrate you." The Garland was known as one of the most upscale restaurants in town. The fact that my aunt had selected such a prestigious venue seemed like a truly genuine effort. Despite our fraught history, I felt a fragile glimmer of hope that perhaps my achievement had, at long last, bridged the chasm between us. Congratulatory texts continued to pour in from my cousins. "Can't wait to see you tonight," from Jake. "So proud of you. See you at the Garland," from Emma. "Doctor in the family, save me some cake," from Tyler. Each message, seemingly heartfelt, fueled my burgeoning optimism. Maybe things truly would be different now. I stopped home briefly to freshen up, making sure to keep my graduation gown and cap for the party, as several relatives had specifically mentioned wanting photos. The drive to the garland took a mere 15 minutes, during which I mentally rehearsed gracious responses to the flood of congratulations I anticipated. The restaurant was even more impressive than I had imagined, a stunning converted historic mansion boasting a grand entrance and elegant landscaping. I immediately spotted several family members' cars in the sprawling parking lot, and felt a distinct flutter of excitement as I approached the entrance, still wearing my cap and gown, my diploma case tucked securely under my arm. I could already hear lively music and laughter spilling from within. The hostess smiled warmly. "Welcome to the Garland. Do you have a reservation?" "I'm here for the Williams party," I explained confidently. "I believe they have the private room." Her expression immediately brightened. "Oh, yes. They're all set up beautifully in the back. It looks absolutely wonderful. Let me get someone to show you in, Hannah." "There you are." I turned to see Aunt Patricia herself approaching from the private room. She was impeccably dressed, as always, in an expensive silk pantsuit, her salon-perfect hair not shifting an inch. Something about her strained expression, however, made my stomach instantly clench. "I'll take it from here," she abruptly told the hostess before turning to me, her smile stiff and failing to reach her eyes. "Hannah, dear, you look nice." The slight, deliberate pause before nice was certainly not lost on me, but I swiftly pushed aside that familiar, unwelcome feeling of being judged. "Thank you for organizing this, Aunt Patricia. The restaurant is beautiful." She glanced around furtively, as if to ensure no one could possibly overhear us. "About that," she began, lowering her voice, "we're just getting everything situated inside. Would you mind waiting out here for a few minutes, just until we're absolutely ready?" I blinked in utter confusion. "Ready? It's just for close family right now," she stated firmly, smoothing an invisible wrinkle from her expensive sleeve. "We have some things we need to discuss before the actual celebration." "Close family?" I echoed, the words utterly failing to make sense. "But am family, and isn't this party supposed to be for me?" Aunt Patricia's expression instantly tightened. "Of course it is, Hannah, don't be so dramatic, we just need a few more minutes to finalize some things, you understand, don't you?" As we stood in the opulent entryway, I could clearly see past her into the private room. Through the partially open door, I glimpsed tables lavishly decorated with flowers and balloons. A vibrant banner proudly proclaimed, "Congratulations, Dr. Williams," hanging prominently on the far wall. The room was absolutely teeming with people, not just immediate family, but distant relatives I scarcely recognized and family friends I hadn't seen in years. Everyone, literally everyone, was inside except me. A couple entered the restaurant just behind me, casting curious glances at my cap and gown. The woman offered a warm smile. "Congratulations on your graduation." "Thank you," I managed, my voice feeling strangely distant and hollow. Aunt Patricia looked visibly annoyed by the interruption. "Just wait right here, someone will come get you when we're ready." She pivoted sharply and walked straight back toward the private room, not even waiting for my reply. Through the still open door, I caught a clear glimpse of my cousins, my uncle, and at least 20 other people, all casually chatting and holding champagne flutes. No one, absolutely no one, appeared to be getting anything ready. They were already in full, joyous celebration mode. I stood completely frozen in the elaborate entryway, clutching my diploma case so tightly my knuckles had turned stark white. The cruel reality of the situation slowly, painfully, sank in. This was allegedly my graduation party, yet I was the sole individual not permitted inside. The hostess offered me a fleeting, sympathetic look before quickly busying herself with menus, clearly feeling uncomfortable. My chest instantly tightened as a burning wave of profound embarrassment washed over me. Memories from my childhood surged back, a painful torrent, being relegated to the kids' table long after my cousins had graduated to dining with the adults, receiving obviously ray-gifted presents at Christmas while my cousins joyfully unwrapped the latest gaming systems, being introduced as Jeanette's daughter rather than by my own name, Hannah. I had foolishly believed that earning my medical degree would finally render me worthy in their eyes. Yet, standing there in my cap and gown, diploma still clutched in hand, I starkly realized nothing had changed. I remained the perpetual outsider, still not quite adequate enough to truly be considered part of their close family. That familiar, gnawing feeling of inadequacy, which had haunted me throughout my childhood, once again crept insidiously up my spine. Was there something fundamentally unlovable about me? Something that made me inherently less deserving of inclusion than my cousins? Logically, I understood this was their asterisk issue, not mine. But logic does precious little to soothe the acute pain of rejection, particularly when it comes from individuals who are ostensibly supposed to love you unconditionally. I found myself instinctively backing toward the exit, nearly colliding with another arriving guest. My hands trembled uncontrollably, and my face burned with raw humiliation. One part of me yearned to push past Aunt Patricia, to stride boldly into that room, and loudly demand the recognition I had undeniably earned. But another part, the traumatized little girl, who had learned early to anticipate disappointment from everyone, but her mother simply wanted to vanish, is everything. "Quite all right, miss?" the hostess inquired, genuine concern evident in her voice. I couldn't respond. My throat had completely closed up, and I felt dangerously close to a public breakdown. The sounds of exuberant celebration from the private room seemed to amplify, mockingly. Someone inside laughed, a carefree, joyous sound that pierced me like a physical blade. For a suspended moment, I hovered precariously between fight and flight. Then, my phone vibrated, a text from Megan. "How's the family party going? Sending you strength, Megan," who had guided me through panic attacks before exams, Megan, who had simply held me as I wept on the anniversaries of my mother's death, Megan, who was more truly family to me than anyone in that private room. That singular text served as a lifeline I desperately needed to pull myself back from the precipice of public breakdown. I took a deep, steadying breath, straightened my trembling shoulders, and made an unshakable decision. I would not beg for a place at my own celebration. 20 agonizing minutes crawled by as I stood awkwardly in the restaurant's opulent lobby, each passing minute stretched painfully, underscored by curious glances from newly arriving diners, and increasingly sympathetic looks from the hostess, who had already offered me water twice. I obsessively checked my phone, half desperate for a text granting me entry, half contemplating calling an Uber to escape this profound humiliation. "Are you waiting for your party, honey?" an elderly woman inquired kindly as she and her husband were leaving. "Do you need help finding them?" I forced a brittle smile. "No, thank you. They know I'm here." That, truly, was the most unbearable part. They knew exactly where I was. Just outside the door, deliberately excluded from my own graduation celebration. I texted Megan, "You won't believe this, I'm standing outside my own party." Patricia said, "It's just for close family right now." Her response was instantaneous. "WDF. That's your party, want me to come down there?" "Not yet." I typed back, just needed to vent. To distract myself, I scrolled through old photos on my phone, stopping on one from my 12th birthday. Mom had meticulously saved for months to throw me a small party at the local skating rink. She'd invited my entire class plus all our extended family. Only the classmates showed up. No family came at all. Later, we discovered Aunt Patricia had hosted a pool party for Emma on that very same day, despite Mom having specifically mentioned my birthday when summer plans were being discussed. When Mom gently confronted her, Aunt Patricia had simply shrugged. "Well, Emma's friends were already counting on this date. I'm sure Hannah understands." I hadn't understood. Not truly. Mom had still tried her best to make it special, skating with me and my friends, buying a cheerful ice cream cake, and taking silly photo booth pictures that I still treasured. But I distinctly remember crying that night, tearfully asking, "Mom, what was so inherently wrong with me that my family didn't want to celebrate me?" Another painful memory surfaced, my high school graduation. Mom had been so incredibly proud, cheering vociferously when my name was called. We had planned a modest dinner afterward, inviting Aunt Patricia's family and a few other relatives. Only Uncle Robert had bothered to show up, presenting a card signed by everyone else, claiming a litany of last-minute conflicts. Later that week, social media unequivocally revealed the truth. They had all attended a baseball game together. Instead, my painful thoughts were abruptly interrupted as a restaurant door silently opened. My cousin, Jake, stepped out, looking profoundly uncomfortable. "Hey," he mumbled, carefully avoiding my gaze. "Sorry about the wait." I crossed my arms, my voice laced with frustration. "What exactly is going on, Jake? Why am I standing out here while literally everyone else is inside?" He shifted his weight nervously, looking precisely as he had when we were kids, and he was caught lying about. "Who broke Grandma's antique vase? Aunt Patricia is just organizing a surprise." He quickly offered. "You know how she is about having everything absolutely perfect. A surprise," I retorted, at my graduation party that I'm not even allowed to attend. Jake visibly winced. "It's not like that. She just wants to make an announcement before you come in. It'll only be a few more minutes." Through the door behind him, I could plainly see people leisurely eating appetizers and sipping champagne. Someone was even taking group photos. This bore no resemblance to preparations for a surprise. This looked unequivocally like a party already in full swing. Jake, just be honest with me. What is truly happening? He finally met my gaze, naked guilt etched across his features. Look, Hannah, I don't agree with it, okay? I told Mom this was messed up. But you know how she gets. How she gets about what I pressed, my patience wearing thin. He lowered his voice conspiratorially. She's making this huge speech about how proud the family is to have a doctor now, and how we've all supported you through medical school. Some people from Dad's firm are here, important clients. She's kind of making it seem like they paid for your education. The sheer audacity was breathtaking. They didn't give me dime I stated, my voice low but sharp. Jake, your mom sent me a sympathy card when my mother died, with a check that bounced. None of you even came to my white coat ceremony. Jake, at least, had the decency to look genuinely ashamed. I know. I should have been there. It's just, you know how it is. No. Jake, didn't know how it is, I retorted, my voice tight. I'd always been the family obligation, never a true, valued member of their inner circle. The poor relation they occasionally remembered out of duty. Not genuine love. I'm sorry, Hannah. I really am proud of you, Jake offered, sounding utterly sincere for the very first time. I should probably get back inside before Mom notices I'm gone. As he retreated, I felt the familiar hurt transmute into something far hotter and sharper, incandescent anger. How they use my hard-won accomplishment as social currency, while overtly excluding me from its celebration? How Aunt Patricia audaciously pretends she had anything to do with my success? My mind flashed to my mother, who had worked herself to exhaustion ensuring I had opportunities. She'd helped me study for the MCAT while enduring chemotherapy, and on her deathbed, she made me promise to finish what we started. Don't let anything stop you, she had whispered, her hand fragile in mine, and don't let anyone make you feel small. You're meant for big things, Hannah. Standing there, outside that restaurant, still in my cap and gown, her absence felt like a tangible, physical ache. Mom would have stormed into that room demanding respect for her daughter. But Mom wasn't here. It was just me, and I had a crucial choice to make. My phone vibrated again. A text from Megan. What's the address? I'm coming. In that pivotal moment, a profound realization dawned on me. Family wasn't merely defined by blood. It was defined by who showed up for you, who genuinely celebrated your victories, and truly helped you through defeats. By that very definition, Aunt Patricia and most of the individuals in that room were utterly not my family at all. I gazed through the glass door at the lively celebration unfolding without me. Aunt Patricia, predictably, was the undisputed center of attention, gesturing dramatically as she spoke to a group of well-dressed strangers. This wasn't about me. It had never been about me. It was solely about Aunt Patricia's desperate desire to publicly associate herself with my achievement, without ever having to acknowledge her abysmal failure to support me when it truly mattered. It was about curated appearance, not raw reality. It was about the grand narrative she wanted to tell, not the painful truth of what had actually transpired. This bitter realization didn't diminish the hurt, but it brought startling clarity. I was utterly done waiting for validation from individuals who clearly had no intention of ever genuinely offering it. I was done shrinking myself to fit into spaces where I was never truly welcomed. I was my mother's daughter, and it was past time I stood up for myself, precisely as she had always done for me. After nearly 40 agonizing minutes of standing conspicuously in the lobby, I had effectively become part of the restaurant's permanent decor. The hostess had ceased asking if I needed anything, and new arrivals no longer cast curious glances my way. I was simply the woman in graduation regalia, eternally, painfully waiting. Through the partially open door to the private room, I could still see the celebration in full swing, completely without me. A waiter passed by, balancing a tray laden with elegant desserts, tiny, intricate chocolate confections topped with what appeared to be edible gold. Mom would have found that utterly ridiculous. I thought to myself, food you wear, not eat, she would have playfully joked. I subtly shifted my position to gain a clearer view and froze solid when I saw Aunt Patricia standing proudly at the head of the main table, her champagne glass dramatically raised. The room quieted discernibly as she began to speak, her voice carrying with startling clarity to my secluded spot. As I was saying, she grandly proclaimed, "Our family has always valued education above all else. When my dear sister Jana passed, Robert and I promised we would ensure Hannah completed her journey to becoming a doctor. It wasn't easy, but family always takes care of family. The sheer, blatant lie punched the air from my lungs. Not only had they offered absolutely no support, but Aunt Patricia had explicitly discouraged me from wasting money on more school after Mom died, cynically suggesting I should get a real job instead of pursuing medicine. And now, she continued, beaming, we're just so proud to celebrate Dr. Hannah Williams, the physician in our family, though she's running fashionably late today. Light, insincere laughter rippled through the room. We couldn't be prouder of her accomplishment and are part in it. I must have made an involuntary sound because the hostess glanced over. Her brow furrowed with concern. Inside the room, someone had placed a large, official portrait of me in my white coat on an easel, my actual medical school photo. Next to it, in a smaller frame, was a photograph of my mother, the very same one I kept on my nightstand. The sight of Mom's beloved image being exploited in this elaborate charade was the ultimate final straw. As I watched, a discreet waiter approached my aunt and whispered something. Her eyes instantly darted toward the door, directly at me, and her contrived expression visibly tightened. She gave a curt nod and, without missing a beat, continued her deceitful speech as if absolutely nothing had happened. Moments later, the same waiter discreetly slipped out to the lobby and approached me cautiously. Excuse me, Miss Williams. I believe you're the guest of honor. I merely nodded, too stunned to speak. Your aunt asked me to check if you were still waiting, he mumbled, clearly uncomfortable. She said to tell you they're almost ready for you. Almost ready. After 45 excruciating minutes at my own graduation party. How many people are in there? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. He glanced back at the room. About 50, I think. It's quite a turnout, 50 people, merely celebrating an achievement they had absolutely no part in. While the actual graduate stood outside like an unwanted delivery, I meticulously weighed my options. I could endure the wait, eventually be permitted entry, and simply pretend none of this had occurred. I could, conversely, create a dramatic scene, barge in, and publicly expose Aunt Patricia's blatant lies. Or, I could quietly depart, allowing them to continue their pathetic farce without me. What choice would best serve my hard-won dignity? What would truly honor my mother's memory and the unwavering value she had so profoundly instilled in me? Mom had always championed taking the high road, yet she had also taught me that self-respect was absolutely non-negotiable. Never beg for a seat at a table where you're not valued. She told me once, instead, build your own table. As I stood there, still deliberating, I watched through the door as a waiter wheeled out a large, elaborately decorated cake. Congratulations, Dr. Williams, was inscribed in elegant script across the surface. Aunt Patricia immediately began positioning herself beside it, clearly intending to be prominent in all the photos. My cousin Emma meticulously adjusted the banner, ensuring it would be perfectly visible for pictures. They were meticulously crafting a false narrative that brazenly erased my profound struggles, my mother's immense sacrifice, and their conspicuous absence during the most difficult years of my life. They were callously rewriting history, aiming to cast themselves as a supportive, generous family they had never actually been. The realization struck me with an almost painful, stunning clarity. Nothing I could possibly say or do would fundamentally change who they truly were. No achievement of mine, no matter how monumental, would ever be enough to make them genuinely accept me. I could become the Surgeon General, and Aunt Patricia would find a way to make me wait outside my own celebration, while she shamelessly took credit for my success. I looked down at my graduation gown, the academic regalia I had toiled so intensely to earn the right to wear, the vibrant blue and gold colors of my university, the honor cords signifying graduating with distinction. This was my accomplishment, my moment, and I absolutely refused to allow it to be hijacked by individuals who utterly did not deserve to share in it. With a sudden, fierce resolve, I began unfastening my gown. I slipped it off, then the cap, meticulously folding them over my arm alongside my diploma case. The hostess watched with curious apprehension as I squared my shoulders and drew a deep, fortifying breath. I walked directly to the private room's door and pushed it open just enough to meet Aunt Patricia's gaze. The conversation closest to the door faltered as people became aware of my presence. My aunt's brittle smile flickered for a fleeting moment before she quickly regained her composure. There she is, she exclaimed, though not quite loudly enough to disrupt the conversations continuing farther back in the room. We're almost ready for your grand entrance, dear. I met her eye steadily. No need. Aunt Patricia, I can clearly see you're all having a wonderful time celebrating something. But since this is transparently not actually about me, I'll gracefully leave you to it. Her smile instantly hardened. Don't be ridiculous, Hannah. Of course. This is about you. We're all here to celebrate you, really? I challenged. Because I've been standing outside for nearly an hour while you broadcast how you supported me through medical school, which is quite ironic, considering I haven't seen you since Mom's funeral 4 years ago. Several nearby conversations abruptly ceased as guests tuned into our escalating exchange, and Patricia's eyes darted around nervously. This is neither the time nor place for dramatics, she hissed, her voice low and furious. We can discuss any misunderstandings later. I shook my head firmly. There's no misunderstanding. Aunt Patricia, you simply desire the social capital of having a doctor in the family without ever actually supporting me in * becoming *1. You wanted the party without the person. Message received, loud and crystal clear. I held up my folded gown and cap. I'll take these and my true achievements elsewhere. I'll celebrate with the people who were actually present for me throughout this arduous journey. The stunned silence that followed was profoundly satisfying. For once, Aunt Patricia appeared speechless. My cousin Jake half rose, looking conflicted, while Emma and Tyler simply gaped. Hannah, wait, Uncle Robert began, but I was already turning away, walking out of the restaurant. I felt a strange mix of emotions, hurt and anger, yes, but also a surprising lightness. For the first time, I had confronted the family dynamics that had made me feel inadequate my entire life. I refused to accept mere scraps of attention when I deserved a full place at the table outside. In the warm evening air, I took a deep breath and texted Megan, I'm leaving. Can I come over? Her instant reply, already setting up. Bring ice. I smiled. Tears finally escaping. My chosen family might be smaller, but it was undeniably real, and that was truly worth celebrating. I drove barely 3 blocks from the Garland before pulling into a gas station parking lot. Unable to see through my tears, the full, crushing weight of what had just happened crashed over me. I sat behind the wheel, clutching my carefully folded graduation gown and simply sobbed, deep, body-shaking sobs. Stemming from years of accumulated grief, I cried for my mother, who should have been there, for the family support I'd never received, and for the little girl inside me still craving validation from people who would never give it. When the initial storm passed, I called Megan, my voice thick with raw emotion. They're throwing a party for me that I'm not allowed to attend, I explained, the absurdity hitting me anew. Patricia is literally taking credit for putting me through medical school. Those absolute trash humans. Megan fumed. I knew your aunt was bad. But this is a whole new level. I wiped my eyes, smudging my carefully applied makeup. I don't know why I'm even surprised, I admitted. This is just more of the same, isn't it? They've always treated me like this, which is precisely why you're better off without them. Megan asserted. Come over now. I've already texted the group. What group? The real celebration committee. She declared with fierce determination. Just get your butt over here with ice. By the time I reached Megan's apartment 20 minutes later, my phone buzzed incessantly with notifications. Multiple texts from Jake that was messed up. I'm sorry, Mom is trying to spin it like you had a meltdown. Are you okay? Where are you? And, surprisingly, one from Uncle Robert, your mother would be ashamed of how you were treated today. I should have spoken up sooner. This isn't right. I silenced my phone, focusing instead on climbing the stairs to Megan's 3rd-floor apartment. Ice bag in one hand, graduation regalia and diploma in the other. When Megan opened the door, I was greeted by lively celebratory music and the sight of hastily hung decorations, a handwritten congrats, Dr. Hannah banner stretched across her living room, and blue and gold balloons taped to the walls. But what truly surprised me were the people gathered there. Dr. Santiago from the pharmacy, where I'd worked in high school, my entire medical school study group, to favorite professors and several friends from my clinical rotations. At least 15 people, all smiling and cheering as I stepped inside. Surprise, Megan exclaimed, hugging me tightly. The real celebration, with people who actually give a damn about you. I stood momentarily frozen in the doorway, completely overwhelmed by this spontaneous outpouring of genuine support. How did you group text everyone? They dropped everything, Megan chuckled. That's what real family does. Dr. Santiago approached, his hair now gray but his kind eyes unchanged. I wouldn't have missed celebrating this milestone with you, Hannah. I still remember the teenager who asked me 1,000 questions about drug interactions. I knew then you'd make an exceptional doctor. My anatomy professor, Dr. Chin, then raised a glass. To Dr. Williams, he announced, one of the most dedicated students I've had the pleasure of teaching. Your mother would be bursting with pride. The authentic warmth in that room was like stepping into pure sunshine after years spent in shadow. These individuals had truly been part of my journey. They had witnessed my struggles and triumphs. offered help when I needed it, and celebrated my incremental victories along the way. As we crowded into Megan's small apartment, sharing impromptu toasts and stories, my phone continued to vibrate. I finally checked my phone, discovering a flood of social media notifications. My cousins and other family members had publicly begun posting congratulatory messages. So proud of my brilliant cousin, Dr. Hannah Williams. #family pride, #DF family from Emma, who had barely spoken 10 words to me in the past 4 years. Major respect for my cousin completing medical school despite incredible challenges. #inspiration from Tyler, who had never once checked on me after mom died. The duplicity was absolutely staggering. They were meticulously crafting a public narrative of devoted family support while the reality couldn't have been more starkly different. I showed Megan, who rolled her eyes dramatically. Classic, they're damage controlling. That Aunt Patricia is making them post that stuff. Before I could even respond, my phone rang with an unknown number. I almost declined, but an impulse made me answer. "Is this Hannah Williams?" A woman's voice inquired. "Yes, this is she. This is Marjorie, the events manager at the Garland. I wanted to personally apologize for what transpired this evening. Your situation was brought to my attention by several of our staff, who were extremely concerned." I stepped into Megan's bedroom for privacy. "Oh, thank you. But it wasn't the restaurant's fault." Nevertheless, what occurred was simply unacceptable. I've worked here for 15 years and have never witnessed anything quite like it. She paused. "I should inform you that shortly after you departed, quite a scene unfolded. Several people walked out, including an older gentleman I believe was your uncle." My heart leaped. Uncle Robert left, yes, and he was quite vocal about his strong disapproval. 2 younger men followed him. They appeared to be around your age, Jake and Tyler. That was truly unexpected. The party dispersed rather quickly after that. Marjorie continued. "Your aunt tried to proceed as if nothing had happened, but it was awkward. To say the least, a small, petty part of me felt gratified that my departure had indeed disrupted their meticulously orchestrated event. But predominantly, I was shocked that Uncle Robert and my cousins had actually taken such a decisive stand. I genuinely appreciate you letting me know. There's one more detail," she added. "The gentleman, your uncle, settled the bill in full, but explicitly instructed that the cake be delivered to you. He left your address with us. Would tomorrow morning be acceptable?" I provided Megan's address instead, thanked her, and returned to the living room celebration feeling a strange, quiet vindication. At least some of my blood relatives had acknowledged the injustice. As the evening progressed, I received 3 more calls from Uncle Robert, which I let go to voicemail, not yet ready to speak. But I did listen to his messages. "Hannah, it's Uncle Robert. What happened tonight was utterly inexcusable. Patricia had no right to treat you that way, especially not on your graduation day. I should have intervened immediately. Please call me back when you can." Then, his second message. "It's me again. I've left the party, so have Jake and Tyler. We're at the diner on Main if you want to join us. No pressure. But the door's open." Finally, his third. "Just checking if you're okay. I understand if you don't want to talk right now. Just know that I'm truly sorry. And I'd like to make it right if you'll give me the chance." I showed the messages to Megan, who had been my unwavering rock through every medical school crisis. "What do you think?" I asked her. "Should I call him back?" She considered it thoughtfully. "He's making a genuine effort. That's more than can be said for the rest of them. Maybe hear him out, but absolutely set clear boundaries. You don't owe anyone automatic forgiveness." I nodded, feeling a profound new sense of empowerment. For far too long, I had accepted whatever meager scraps of family connection were begrudgingly tossed my way. But standing up for myself at the restaurant had fundamentally shifted something within me. I deserved undeniably better. And for the very first time, I truly, deeply believed it. My phone chimed again with a text from Jake. "I messed up big time. Should have stood up for you right away. Left with Dad and Tyler. Can we talk tomorrow?" The genuine celebration around me continued, warm and unequivocally supportive. These were the people who had truly shown up for me when it profoundly counted. They were celebrating my achievement, not leveraging it for their own social capital. This asterisk was what authentic family was supposed to feel like. Dr. Santiago raised his glass once more. I proposed another toast, he announced, not just to Hannah's remarkable achievement, but to her exceptional character. Jana raised a daughter imbued with integrity, persistence, and profound compassion. Those qualities will undoubtedly make you an exceptional physician, as everyone clinked glasses. My anatomy lab partner Marcus called out enthusiastically, speech from the doctor. Surrounded by people who genuinely cared for me, I finally found my voice. I honestly couldn't have done any of this without all of you. Medical school is simply impossible to navigate alone. And each of you, I said, my voice catching, helped me in ways you might not even fully realize. My mom used to say that family isn't just about blood, it's about who shows up. All of you showed up not just today, but throughout this entire arduous journey. I raised my glass, feeling a bittersweet blend of grief and profound gratitude, to my mom, who started me on this path, and to all of you, my chosen family, who helped me finish it. As tears welled up, my phone vibrated. Again. Another text, this one from an utterly unexpected source. Aunt Patricia, your behavior tonight was embarrassing and childish. After all we've done for you. This is how you repay us. You've always had a flair for drama, just like your mother. I showed it to Megan, who gasped in utter outrage. But instead of the familiar hurt I might have felt before, I found myself laughing aloud. The message was so transparently manipulative, so clearly designed to make me question my own reality, that it had completely lost its power. What are you going to do? Megan asked, her voice tight. I simply deleted the message without responding and put my phone away. I'm going to celebrate becoming a doctor with people who are genuinely happy for me, I announced. The rest can wait until tomorrow. For the first time in years, I felt profoundly free. Not free of grief for my mother, which would always remain a part of me, but free of the desperate, consuming need for approval from people who would never freely grant it. I had indeed built my own table, just as Mom had wisely advised, and it was now filled with individuals who genuinely cared. That night, enveloped by authentic support and celebration, I finally understood. I hadn't lost family when my mother died. I had simply needed to recognize the true family I already possessed. The morning after graduation dawned bright and clear, both externally and within me. I awoke on Megan's couch to the inviting aroma of coffee and the gentle clatter of breakfast being prepared. My head ached faintly from the champagne we consumed, but the emotional hangover I'd anticipated was surprisingly absent. In its place resided a profound sense of clarity I hadn't experienced in years. Morning, doctor, Megan greeted, handing me a steaming mug. How's it feel to be both a doctor and an official family rebel? I laughed, sitting up and gratefully accepting the coffee. Surprisingly good, I admitted. Though I have about 20 missed calls to deal with, my phone had indeed been incessantly lighting up since dawn with messages from Uncle Robert, Jake, Tyler, and even Emma. Conspicuously absent was any communication from Aunt Patricia. Beyond her single passive-aggressive text from the previous night, I scrolled through them, sipping my coffee, trying to strategize my next move. The cakes being delivered at 10, I reminded Megan. Yes, stolen graduation cake for breakfast. I am here for this level of petty, she declared. Around 9:30. Still in our pajamas and deliberating whether to respond to any messages, an unexpected knock startled us. Megan peeked through the peephole, then turned to me, eyes wide. It's your Aunt Patricia, she whispered, and she does not look happy. My stomach instantly dropped. I hadn't given the garland Megan's address, only Uncle Robert had. That information. He must have told his wife. You absolutely don't have to see her, Megan said firmly. I can tell her to leave. I paused, considering this. Retreating or hiding would only reinforce the toxic dynamic that had defined my entire life. Aunt Patricia as the formidable authority figure, and me as a perpetually chastened child. It was unequivocally time to shatter that pattern. No, I decided. Standing tall. I'll talk to her, but it will be here on my terms. I quickly ran a brush through my hair and straightened the wrinkled clothes from the previous day. Not ideal, but this wasn't about appearances any longer. When I opened the door, Aunt Patricia stood there, encased in another impeccable outfit, her expensive handbag clutched tightly against her body like an impenetrable shield. Her lips were pressed into a thin, grim line, her entire posture radiating blatant disapproval. May I come in? She asked stiffly. You can say whatever you came to say from right there, I replied, surprised by the newfound steadiness in my voice. Her eyes narrowed sharply at my defiance. This isn't a conversation for hallways, Hannah. I raised you better than that. Actually, I countered, you didn't raise me at all. My mother did, and she taught me that respect is earned, not automatically granted simply based on a family title. Aunt Patricia flinched, almost imperceptibly. For a brief moment, I saw something flicker across her carefully composed face, not anger, but something far more complex. Fine, she conceded after a tense pause. I came to inform you that your behavior yesterday was utterly unacceptable. Do you have any idea how much that party cost? How many important connections were there? Specifically waiting to meet you embarrassed the entire family. I leaned against the doorframe, carefully considering her words. That's interesting, I replied calmly. Because from where I was standing outside my own party, it seemed the event was far more about you than me. You were shamelessly taking credit for supporting me through medical school, when we both know that's completely untrue. We our family. She insisted, her voice rising. Your accomplishments reflect on all of us. Family, I echoed, the word bitter on my tongue. Where was this family when Mom was dying? Where was this family when I was working 3 jobs just to make rent? During my first year of medical school, where were you Aunt Patricia? When I desperately needed actual support, not a performative party thrown only after I'd already succeeded? She adjusted her handbag, clearly deeply uncomfortable. Your mother chose her path. She always had to do everything her own way. Even when we offered help, this blatant revision of history ignited a fire within me. What help? I cut her off. When Mom worked herself to exhaustion, providing for me. Because your family decided she wasn't worth supporting. Once she became a single mother, you all judged her, excluded her, made her feel less than, and then you did the exact same to me? That's not true, she protested. But her voice utterly lacked conviction. It is true, and you know what's truly sad? I spent years thinking if I just achieved enough, if I just became successful enough, you would finally accept me. But standing outside that restaurant yesterday, I realized it would never be enough. The problem was never me. It was you Aunt Patricia's meticulously maintained facade finally cracked. Visibly, you don't understand. Things were complicated. With your mother and me. Then help me understand, I challenged, my voice firm. Because from my perspective, you've treated me like an unwanted obligation my entire life. She remained silent for a long moment, her gaze fixed past me. Into the apartment. When she finally spoke, her voice was softer, almost weary. Your mother was always a smart one. The pretty one. The one everyone adored. I was the practical one. The responsible one. I did everything right. Married well, maintained the family connections, upheld our social standing. Jana threw it all away for your father, whom everyone knew was unreliable. I stared at her, a profound realization dawning. You were jealous of her. I was concerned, she corrected quickly. But we both knew it was a lie. When he left and she struggled, she continued. I thought she would finally admit she had made a mistake, that she needed our help, help. But she never did. She was too proud. She was too hurt, I countered. By her family's judgment, by her conditional love, and Patricia looked away. When she got sick, I didn't know how bad it was. She didn't tell me until it was advanced. By then, it was too late to reconcile. I finished for her, and after she died, instead of making amends by supporting her daughter, you simply perpetuated the same harmful pattern. Something that resembled shame flickered across her face. I didn't know how to bridge that gap. And then you were achieving everything on your own, just like she would have done. Megan subtly appeared at my shoulder. A quiet show of unwavering support, and Patricia's gaze flickered between us, seeming to register for the first time that I was neither alone nor defenseless. The party was supposed to be a gesture. She offered, a hint of desperation in her tone. Finally, a semblance of recognition. It was a performance, I gently corrected, for your friends and connections, not for me. If you had genuinely wanted to celebrate me, you wouldn't have made me wait outside like an unwelcome guest. Before she could formulate a response, the elevator chimed, and a delivery person appeared, pushing an enormous cake box. Delivery. For Dr. Williams, the timing was almost comically perfect. Aunt Patricia stared first at the cake, then back at me. Robert arranged for this, I stated. He, Jake, and Tyler left the party after I did. They seem to understand what you still don't. That family means showing up when it truly matters, not just when it's convenient or socially advantageous. She absorbed this information with palpable discomfort. For perhaps the very first time in our strained relationship, I witnessed Aunt Patricia at a complete loss for words. The carefully constructed narrative she had built of the generous aunt, benevolently supporting her less fortunate niece, was visibly crumbling before her eyes. After the delivery person handed the cake to Megan, a heavy, awkward silence descended between us. I waited patiently, no longer compelled to fill the silence or ease her discomfort. I should go, she finally stated. Clearly, this isn't the right time. When would be the right time, Aunt Patricia? I challenged. After years of systematic exclusion and relentless judgment, when, precisely, would be the appropriate moment to address this? She had no coherent answer. As she turned to depart, I felt not the satisfaction I might have anticipated, but a curious, almost melancholic pity. My aunt had spent so many years meticulously upholding appearances and rigid social hierarchies that she had utterly missed the true essence of family, the unconditional support and joyful celebration of each other's happiness that my mother had so beautifully embodied. For what it's worth, I called after her. I would have genuinely welcomed a true relationship with you and the family, not because of any material gain, but because you were my mother's sister. That meant something profound to me. She paused, but did not turn around. After a moment, she continued stiffly toward the elevator, her shoulders rigid with either pride or profound regret, perhaps both. Later that day, I finally returned Uncle Robert's calls. Our conversation was tentative, years of ingrained distance, creating an awkwardness neither of us quite knew how to bridge. I failed you and your mother, he admitted bluntly after brief, preliminary pleasantries. I allowed Patricia to dictate our family relationships because it was simply easier than confronting her. Yesterday, watching you stand utterly alone outside your own celebration, it was like witnessing your mother all over again. I couldn't remain complicit any longer. What happened after I left? I asked. He chuckled humorlessly. I told Patricia. She'd gone too far. Jake and Tyler immediately agreed. We walked out, and surprisingly, about half the guests followed, including most of the actual family members. The business associates she was so keen to impress were left rather bewildered by the whole situation. This revelation genuinely surprised me. Half the guests left. Your cousin Emma stayed, he added, but she texted me later expressing deep regret for not leaving too. Patricia still exerts a strong influence over her. We talked for nearly an hour, Uncle Robert meticulously filling in the significant gaps in my understanding of the complex family dynamics that had so profoundly shaped my childhood. My mother's decision to marry against family wishes, the subsequent ostracism when the marriage failed, and the deeply complicated relationship between the sisters, which had begun in childhood and poisoned everything that followed. None of this excuses how you were treated, he emphasized with conviction. But I want you to know it was never about *Hannah. It was about old wounds and deep-seated jealousies that existed long before you were born. That doesn't make it hurt any less, I admitted honestly. No, I suppose it doesn't. He paused. Jake and Tyler would genuinely like to see you if you're willing. They're truly sorry. They've always looked up to you, your determination, your independence, qualities their mother didn't necessarily encourage in them. I promised to consider it, not ready to commit to more family interactions just yet. When we finally ended the call, I felt a strange mixture of both closure and a hopeful new beginning. The conversation hadn't erased the accumulated hurt of years of exclusion, but it had provided crucial context I had never possessed before. Over the next few weeks, as I prepared for the demanding start of my residency, I received tentative outreach from various family members. Jake invited me to coffee, where he awkwardly but sincerely apologized for years of passively going along with his mother's unfair treatment of me. Emma sent a thoughtful handwritten card, congratulating me on graduation and expressing deep regret for her role in the party debacle. Even Tyler, the cousin with whom I'd had the least prior connection, texted inquiring if we could reconnect. Aunt Patricia, predictably, remained conspicuously silent. However, Uncle Robert reported that my confrontation had shaken her far more than she would ever openly admit. She's not good at acknowledging when she's wrong, he explained. Never has been. But she absolutely knows she crossed a major line this time. I decided to cautiously accept these tentative olive branches from my cousins, while simultaneously maintaining healthy, necessary boundaries. We weren't going to instantly transform into a close-knit family after years of profound distance, but perhaps we could gradually build something entirely new. Relationships based on who we were as evolving adults, rather than merely the entrenched dynamics established in childhood. Even more surprisingly, I found myself seriously considering family therapy with those willing to participate, not to excuse the past, but to gain deeper understanding and foster healthier patterns moving forward. My medical training had taught me that sometimes the most painful wounds needed to be carefully reopened and thoroughly cleaned before they could properly heal. As I meticulously packed for my significant move to Boston, where I would begin my intensive residency, I reverently placed my mother's photograph carefully between layers of clothing. I did it. Mom, I whispered softly, not just becoming a doctor, but truly standing up for myself the way you always wanted me to. I didn't need a fancy party or my extended family's validation to know. She would have been immensely proud. 1 year after that humiliating graduation party incident, I stood in the small but vibrant backyard of my new Boston apartment, surrounded by a diverse mixture of cherished old friends, supportive new colleagues from my residency program, and, most surprisingly, a small but genuine contingent of family members. Uncle Robert manned the grill with amusingly unnecessary seriousness. Jake was deep in conversation with Megan about a complex patient case I consulted them both on. And Emma was cheerfully helping arrange a table laden with an array of potluck dishes that had been steadily accumulating. Year 1 residency survivor. Celebration. Read a handmade banner strung between Patrice Megan's creative handiwork, complete with anatomically correct heart drawings. That made some non-medical guests slightly uncomfortable. I surveyed the entire scene with a quiet, profound sense of satisfaction. This gathering was everything last year's party wasn't: authentic, relaxed, and genuinely centered around true relationships rather than superficial appearances. No one was performing for social media or business connections. No one was attempting to take credit for my accomplishments. It was simply people who genuinely cared about each other, enjoying a beautiful summer day. The path to this peaceful moment had been neither straightforward nor easy. The months following my dramatic confrontation with Aunt Patricia had indeed been filled with awkward family dynamics, tentative reconciliations, and occasional disheartening backsliding into old patterns. We had, remarkably, initiated family therapy, myself, Uncle Robert, Jake, and eventually Emma, meeting monthly with a skilled therapist specializing in family systems. Our initial sessions had been almost comically tense, none of us quite knowing how to bridge years of profound distance and deep-seated hurt, but slowly, painstakingly, session by session, we began to unpack the intricate, complex history that had shaped our relationships. Uncle Robert spoke candidly about his profound regret at not having confronted his wife sooner. Jake and Emma share their distinct experiences growing up under Aunt Patricia's exacting standards and conditional approval different from my outright exclusion, but damaging in their own ways. I always thought you had it better because you had freedom, Emma admitted during one poignant session. Mom was so controlling of every single aspect of my life, my appearance, my friends, my activities. Everything revolved around maintaining the right image, I countered. And I thought you had it better because you had security and belonging. I would have traded some freedom for knowing I had consistent family support. These shared realizations helped us develop genuine empathy for each other's unique experiences. We weren't comparing traumas or competing over who had suffered more. We were, at long last, finally seeing each other clearly, perhaps for the very first time. Aunt Patricia, predictably, steadfastly refused to participate in therapy, adamantly maintaining that the entire exercise constituted unnecessary drama. Her absence was certainly felt, but ironically, it also allowed the rest of us to speak more openly and freely. Uncle Robert had, commendably, begun standing up to her more consistently, unequivocally refusing to enable behaviors that continually damaged their family relationships. This had undeniably created tension in their marriage, but he appeared far more at peace with himself. Your mother would be so incredibly proud of you, he told me one day after a particularly productive therapy session. Not just for becoming a doctor, Hannah, but for bravely forcing us all to confront some uncomfortable, hard truths professionally. My first year of residency had indeed been the anticipated whirlwind of exhaustion, intense learning, and occasional triumphs. The internal medicine program at Boston General was renowned for its exceptionally rigorous standards, and there were countless days when I questioned my stamina to continue. Yet, the deep resilience I had cultivated throughout my entire life served me remarkably well within the hospital's demanding environment. What surprised me most was how my personal history with family dysfunction had unexpectedly become a powerful asset in my medical practice. I discovered I possessed a particular sensitivity toward patients whose illnesses were complicated by intricate family dynamics: the elderly man whose adult children couldn't agree on his care plan, the teenager exhibiting mysterious symptoms exacerbated by unresolved parental conflict, the young mother striving to navigate complex treatment decisions without adequate family support. You have an extraordinary gift for this, my attending physician commented, after observing me skillfully mediate a difficult family meeting. Most residents at your level would have simply gotten frustrated and walked out. I've certainly had some practice, I replied simply. As the backyard celebration continued vibrantly around me, I found myself drawn to the small, intimate memorial table I had thoughtfully set up in a quiet corner. My mother's cherished photograph stood proudly, surrounded by a few meaningful items: her favorite book, the stethoscope she had gifted me upon my medical school acceptance, and a small jar containing sand from the beach where we had scattered her ashes. Having a moment, Megan asked softly, appearing at my side with 2 glasses of lemonade. I smiled, accepting the drink, just thinking about how much has transformed in a year. From standing outside my own party to actually hosting one, that's what I call genuine character development, Megan affirmed, clinking glasses. We watched as a vibrant gathering organically evolved around us. New connections were clearly forming. My residency mentor engrossed in conversation with Dr. Santiago, who had driven up from my hometown for the weekend. Jake eagerly showing my colleague Priya pictures of his new puppy. Uncle Robert earnestly discussing grilling techniques with my landlord. "You've truly built something wonderful here," Megan observed, a warm smile on her face. "Your own kind of family." The term chosen family had always felt somewhat cliché to me. But looking around at this scene, I could no longer deny its profound accuracy. These were the individuals who showed up not out of obligation or social expectation, but from a place of genuine care and authentic connection. Some were related by blood, others by shared life experiences, but all had undeniably earned their place in my life through consistent presence and unwavering support. Aunt Patricia's absence was noticeable, yet remarkably not painful. After months of minimal contact, she had sent a brief, formal note acknowledging that she perhaps misjudged some situations, as close to an apology as she was ever likely to offer. I have responded with equal brevity, consciously leaving the door open for future reconciliation without harboring any strong expectations. Our relationship remained tentative and distant, but the toxic emotional power she had once wielded over me was definitively gone. Dr. Williams, one of my interns, called, waving me over to settle a good-natured, spirited debate about a recent medical journal article. As I joined the group, I caught Uncle Robert watching me with an expression that powerfully reminded me of my mother, a tender mixture of pride and wistfulness that made my heart ache. Later, as the evening gently wound down and guests began their departures, Uncle Robert helped me carry dishes into the kitchen. "Your mother loved gatherings like this," he remarked unexpectedly. "Nothing fancy, just good people genuinely enjoying each other's company." Patricia always thought Jeanette's parties were too casual, not impressive enough. But those were always the ones people truly enjoyed. I paused, hands deep in soapy water. "I didn't know that about her. There's a lot you might not know," he replied. "She was a truly remarkable woman. Your mother, stubborn as hell. Of course, a family trait you've clearly inherited," he smiled wryly. "She would be so incredibly proud of the life you're building, Hannah. Not just the doctor part, though that too. But the way you've learned to stand up for yourself while still keeping your heart open. That's no small thing." As the last guest departed and a profound quiet settled over the apartment, I sat alone on my small balcony, watching the city lights against the deepening twilight sky. The journey from that humiliating moment outside the Garland to this serene evening had imparted lessons no medical textbook could possibly contain. I had learned that family was defined not merely by DNA, but by consistent presence and unwavering, genuine support, that standing up for yourself wasn't selfish, but absolutely necessary for personal authenticity. That true healing often demanded confronting painful truths, rather than clinging to comfortable illusions. And perhaps most crucially, that belonging was not something to be earned through endless achievement, or by perpetually pleasing others, but something organically built through mutual respect and heartfelt care. My phone vibrated. A text from Megan. "Best party ever. Your mom would have loved it." I smiled, feeling my mother's enduring presence not as an absence, but as a solid foundation, the strong, unwavering base upon which I had built everything that followed. Her love had been truly unconditional in a family where affection typically came with restrictive strings attached. That profound gift had ultimately empowered me to discern when relationships were healthy and when they were detrimental, to confidently set necessary boundaries, and to foster connections founded on genuine care rather than mere obligation. The hard-won wisdom of the past year settled around me like a comforting blanket. I had learned that walking away from toxic dynamics wasn't surrendering. It was, in fact, the courageous first step toward constructing something vastly superior. That confronting painful patterns wasn't causing trouble. It was, instead, actively forging possibilities for profound healing. That standing alone was sometimes an essential prerequisite before you could truly, authentically stand together. As I prepared for bed that night, I paused before my mother's cherished photograph on my nightstand. "I think I finally understand what you were trying to teach me all along," I whispered. "That family isn't about who you're born to. It's about who you choose to become, and who chooses to stand beside you through that journey." The road ahead would, of course, still present its complications. Family dynamics established over generations don't transform overnight, and residency would continue to rigorously test my professional limits. But I face these challenges now from a place of hard-earned strength and absolute clarity. I had ceased waiting for a seat at a table where I wasn't valued. Instead, I had built my own table, one expansive enough for all who wished to authentically connect, with no one left standing outside. What about your experiences? Have you Ever had to walk away from something familiar to discover something better? Or found yourself needing to redefine family on your own terms?